Hey there, it's Marley and welcome to my February TBR video. So today we're going to be choosing the books I'm going to read for my February TBR. We have a few that are already set, and then this month I'm going to be using my TBR cards to choose the last 3 books that I'm going to read. I have used these TBR cards quite a few times on my channel now. I still haven't gone through all the cards, I don't believe, and I'm hoping that it will lead me to pick some books for my physical TBR, to be honest, because it's getting pretty full on my TBR card, and I don't think I read like any physical TBR books last month. So that is the goal. But in terms of the books I have set, so I am going to be doing a romance reading vlog like I normally do during February in honor of Valentine's Day. There is a certain way I chose which books I'm gonna read, but I'll leave that as kind of like a bit of a secret, I guess, for that reading vlog. First up, we have On the Same Page by Haley Cass. This is a sapphic romance, so that intrigues me. I know I've just heard really great things about it from the few people who I've watched that have read it. I know it's about these 2 friends who I think have been friends since university. They always just thought they were friends, but then suddenly now they're thinking maybe there's something more to the relationship. That's all I really know about it. Obviously, the trope is friends to lovers, which can be hit or miss, I feel, so I really hope it's a hit. Next up is Before I Go by Kennedy Ryan. Kennedy Ryan's a really hyped up romance author, so it'll be interesting to finally dive into one of her books and see if I like it. It's about these 2 parents, so they obviously like were together and had kids, but now they've broken up, and now the trope is going to be a second chance romance where they're co-parenting and everything like that, having this nice friendship, but then they're gonna like fall back in love with each other, it seems. So this could be a really sweet story, I think, especially because they already have this cute little family. We'll see. This is a little bit out of the norm for me. I don't normally read books where it's second chance and they already have kids, so sounds a bit unique. Then for my 3rd book for that vlog, I'm not exactly sure yet which of these 2 I'm gonna pick, but one of the ones I might choose is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonam-Young. This is about, I believe, 2 people who are missing limbs, hence the pun in the title. But I'm pretty sure these 2 people hook up, and then I think it's an unexpected pregnancy trope, which isn't necessarily something I look for, but I think this one sounds interesting because they decide to just be friends and raise the kid as friends, I think, like co-parent, but then they end up falling in love along the way. It's giving kind of Life as You Know It vibes. I think that's the name of the movie where those people have to like take care of the baby together. I guess I'm reading multiple romance books with kids. I didn't realize that. Or I might read Out on the Limb. The other one I might read is Pulling Doubles by Christina C. Jones. This is the 2nd book in the Wright Brothers series. I don't know a ton about this romance series, but the reason this is on my TBR is because I heard that one of the characters, I think one of the main characters, has type 1 diabetes. I'm pretty sure Nat from Nerdy Nat Reads mentioned this, and it is a goal of mine to read more books that have type 1 diabetes rep since I have that condition. So I just kind of like to judge and see how the authors have written the disease, if they did it accurately or if it's offensive. I'm just intrigued to read more books with type 1 rep. And it seems to be about a woman who is a nurse at a hospital, and then the romance is between her and a doctor at the hospital. It sounds kind of Grumpy Sunshine, which is one of my favorite romance tropes. And I think the doctor is like against dating at the hospital, so that's kind of like the forbidden aspect, is he doesn't normally date other people who work at the hospital. So that's all I know about that one. I think all of these sound really good, really promising, so definitely stay tuned for that vlog later in February if you want to see my thoughts. The only other book I have planned is going to be Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism, and this is by Amanda Montell. This is a nonfiction book clearly about cults. I've been hearing some really good things about it over the last few years. I decided to recommend it for my book club that I have with my friends, and they were down for it, so I think this will be an interesting book to read for a book club and discuss. We have not done any nonfiction in this personal book club yet, so could be a new type of genre for us to be reading. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just about obviously the language of cults and how, you know, cults are not necessarily just the typical ones that you think of, the really like famous, toxic and dangerous ones, but how even like things like social media and different other groups kind of use cultish language. And I think that'll be really interesting as someone who obviously is on the internet a lot, is on social media a lot, been a part of different fandoms and such throughout my life, so I think this one will be interesting. All right, now let's get into the TBR card pulls. I'm gonna pull 3 cards. As I said, I really hope it leads me to read some books for my TBR because I'm buying books and I'm not reading enough. And these are from Hey Book Lover, if you wanna buy them. Okay, so first card is choose a book which has been in your TBR for more than a year. That's perfect. That's perfect for what I wanted. That gives me a lot of free reign on my book cart. Okay, so really just anything I've had for more than a year that I want to read. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's a book that's been on my TBR for a while now. Not that I'm super excited to read it, but like, I should read it. The First to Die at the End by Silvera. This is the sequel to They Both Die at the End, which is kind of like a sci-fi contemporary romance between the 2 guys who live in this world where they are told when you're gonna die and they end up spending their last day together. That was a pretty decent book, but I read it at the beginning of my booktube journey. So I feel like I wasn't as critical of a reader and I was still reading a lot more YA back then. So a little nervous to read this, especially it's like quite big, but the text is big at least. But yeah, this is actually prequel, I think, to the first night that this death cast technology started of predicting when people are gonna die. So again, it follows 2 boys, Orion, a lifelong New Yorker with a serious heart condition, and then Valentino, an aspiring model who's new to the city. But when Deathcast makes their first call, everything changes when one boy discovers he might die, and the other's life will never be the same after this extraordinary heartbreaking day. Oh, so only one of them is dying in this one. That is actually more sad. At least when you know they're both gonna die, they're both dying, but now one of them's gonna live. Oh. Anyways, okay, we'll get this out of the way finally. All right, let's see what the next card will bring. Choose a book which is a fake relationship trope. Love that trope, love that trope. Unfortunately, I don't think I have anything on my physical TBR. It's definitely gonna be another romance book, which I'm already reading a bunch of romance this month, so maybe not what I would prefer. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check my non-physical TBR on Goodreads. Okay, as suspected, there are multiple options here, but which one do I want to choose? Okay, I think I'm just gonna go with The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I'm not that excited about it, but you know, I have enjoyed some of Christina Lauren's books. This is about 2 people who got married out of just convenience for the 2 of them, and then our main character thought that they had gotten divorced once the conveniency had ended. Now it's 3 years later, and they find out that they are still married legally. For the guy, this is still convenient for him because he needs to prove to his family that he is like a family man in order to get his inheritance or something. So they have to fake that they really are a true, genuine marriage and they didn't just marry for convenience. So it's fake dating, fake marriage. I don't know. I feel like I didn't see that many people talk about this book, but it sounds like it could be similar to The Honeymooners, which was my favorite book by them. So we'll see, we'll see. Okay, now for the third and final prompt. Choose a book which is set in one of your favorite cities. Okay, that's unique. What are my favorite cities? I guess like I enjoyed New York. Like that's kind of a classic answer that I could do. Maybe like a fake city if I want to do like a fantasy option. That might be a bit of a cheat. North Omaha. No. Okay, I'm tempted to do a bit of a cheat-ish here and say Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I'm pretty sure they go to hell in this book. Which I'm not saying that's my favorite city, but at least some of this book should take place at Yale, which I believe is in New Haven. Have I ever been there? No, but I feel like I love the idea of the vibes there. You know, the fall, Gilmore Girls, cozy vibes. I did go visit Harvard in Cambridge, and so I've kind of been into that like area of the United States. Like it's not too far from Yale, so I feel like I kind of get the vibes of that area and I like it. So this was really the only option if I wanted to pick something from my physical TBR, which was my goal, unless I wanted to start searching, you know, books that take place in New York or something from my non-physical TBR. But yeah, this one is the sequel to Ninth House, which is a dark academia fantasy book that I really loved. As I was saying before, it does take place at Yale as our main character is working there and going to school there. There's a bunch of secret societies on campus that our main character is involved with as she has some some like supernatural powers, some supernatural involvement. And there was also a murder mystery aspect and some different fun relationship stuff going on. I'm pretty sure in this one, not to spoil, but I'm pretty sure they're going to hell to save one of the main characters. And that's really all I know, but I've heard definitely good things about this. I'm pretty sure most people loved it if they loved Ninth House. So I really just need to get to this because I definitely anticipate it being 5 stars because I loved Ninth House so much. So there we go. We have our 3 books picked out from the TBR cards list. I also didn't want to put just another romance. So at least we have a fantasy option in here. So yeah, that's going to be my February TBR. Let me know down below if you have any thoughts or if you are reading romance for February like me. Please subscribe if you have not already so you can see my review of these books at the end of the month. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great February and I'll see you soon in a new video. Bye!